Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Friday, October 14th, 2022. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Happy Friday, everyone. Here's a look at the ES in the daily time frame right now. The previous session, we had a big reaction to the pre-market CPI data. Price dropped very significantly down to the 3502 level. Eventually, a very strong reversal occurred, and we've seen the market rally here to become a bullish outside day, outside the 3-day range, and a big time move to the upside. Right now what we're seeing is a little bit of a pullback from the highs here and a modest digestive type of overnight trade happening right now. 53% of ADR at the moment as we head into the RTH open. This is a really strong rejection that developed in the previous session from a bullish perspective. It's a lower low failure here against the recent pivot low, and that type of rejection would tend to suggest at least a push back to the previous highs here. And based off of the 921 FOMC key level, this lower low failure could finally get us to retest that naked level up above, which is at 3902. That'd be 400 points from the current low. And from the pullback here this morning, it could be a nice continuation as well. So that could be the swing upside target here. Again, one thing that we'd like to see today is for price to hold the previous session's gains here from a bullish perspective. A strong weekly chart rejection would go a long way toward at least a swing push higher off these lows. You have this lower low failure here that could be in play as well. So right now, if price can continue to hold above 3650 and if not close above 3700 today, that could go a long way toward retesting the recent highs at 3811, 3810, and then rallying up to the FOMC key level at 3902 in the near term. A failure to hold the midpoint of this rejection day here by the end of the session would be quite bearish and would really turn things around right away. So a strong rejection in the previous session from a bullish perspective at the lows of the year, at the previous session's lows, lower lows, all of that could lead to a swing bounce on a very short-term basis. Again, keep in mind this would be a counter trend bounce, and even if that bounce were to materialize, we're still in an overall downtrend that could lead to a larger swing move lower down the road. But right now, watching to see if the bulls can keep this thing bid here in the near term. If we take a look at the NQ, we've seen a similar rejection in the previous session. Again, a lower low failure against the June pivot low, a lower low failure against the early month low here, and currently holding at the upper end of yesterday's range. Again, this type of rejection here from a short-term perspective could lead to a return back to the prior pivot high here, which is about 11,750, and then perhaps rotate back to the September 21st FOMC key level right above. That's about 12,050 right here. So that could be about where the swing target takes us in a best case scenario here. If there's a failure today and we fail to hold above the previous session's midpoint, that'd be a significant and bearish failure right there. So right now, bulls want to keep this thing bid, keep it in the upper end of the day's range, if not finish it a bit higher, and that would go a long way toward returning it back to the prior pivot high and the FOMC key level above. We take a look here at crude oil. Right now, crude oil, there it is, holding on the pullback. Last ditch effort to hold the pullback at the 85-86 zone. Again, this was something we talked about before. If bulls can just keep this thing bid on this pullback, there might be a shot to finish off the move back to the 97.50, 97.60 zone up above. That's the next pivot high. It is the top of this market structure here. So this is a big time hold right here from a short-term perspective to continue to hold that zone. If prices can rally here today and close a bit higher, that could open up the upside. Overall, though, this has been a downtrending market, and many times the strength has been turned right back down. So The failure to get back above 89.50, 89.25 here could be important. A failure to hold the 85s could open up another round of weakness up ahead. So this 85.50 zone, very important here. 86 zone, can bulls keep this area bid? If so, there could be a short-term swing move back to the recent pivot high and composite VWAP rather ahead at the 96, 97.50 zone. If we take a look here at Bitcoin, Bitcoin's up right now 1.7% at the moment. A decent rejection on the low. You can see right here a new low for the year, 17,810 on the futures, and a little bit of a bounce. So there was a test at the edge. Obviously we have this rounded behavior, kind of a descending pattern developing, but no breakout just yet. Again, a big test of the lows and a turnaround, which kind of gives us a very sharp pivot to watch. But eventually, again, if we get a break at this level, it opens up quite a bit of downside that could be very, very quick through that LVN channel. As of right now, we're still stuck in the range and still trading in this range until further notice. Looking at ETH futures, very similar. This one's up a bit more right now, up 3.6%. A similar rejection on the lower end of the range here. You can see this narrow range right here, price pushed down below it. 1179.5 was the low yesterday, and bouncing back up to the break even for the month. Still inside the narrow range, still kind of trending a bit downward, but still holding around the 1300 level, which was a CLVN and is now getting filled in quite a bit. So again, barely holding off the full-on continuation to the downside for now, and still stuck in the range at the moment. Alright, that is it for now. We'll see how this plays out heading into the rest of the session. Good luck, trade well, happy Friday. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the trading room. Take care.